Imagine charges and cheers suddenly turning into chaos. Coconut cold fear replaced tennis claps. Chairs rain down like hailstones. Smoke seems to tingle your ears. What began as a tennis match ended in riot police escorting a shaken team off the court. This is not a tennis victory. It is a nightmare. La Serie de los Sillazos, the chair-throwing Davis Cup showdown between Chile and Argentina in April 2000. A test of nerves, rivalries, and outright danger that forced the match to be halted by police. This is the story of that day. How fans threw chairs, how officiating sparked fury, how an Argentine player pushed a ball boy, and how riot squad carabineros stepped in to bring order. You will see how passion tipped into violence, how heritage clashed with insult, and why the match ended not in score, but in retreat. Stay with me, because this isn't just tennis history. It's a cautionary tale of how sport can erupt when rivalry, alcohol, and nationalism collide. In early April 2000, Chile hosted Argentina in a Davis Cup semi-final tie for the Americas Zone at the Parque O'Higgins Indoor Stadium in Santiago. The venue was still under construction, thousands of plastic chairs loosely set, flimsy and unbolted. Security was minimal. A beer sponsor handed out plastic cups that conveniently became projectiles. Chile's top player, Marcelo Rios, world number 1. 8 teamed with Nicolas Massú. Argentina sent Mariano Zabaleta, world number 21, Hernan Gumi, and doubles pair Mariano Hood and Sebastián Prieto. Argentina had momentum, Chile had motivation. Days earlier, their national football team had lost 4-1 to Argentina, and local fans saw revenge on the tennis court. In the first singles, Rios beat Gumi, and the tone shifted. The Argentine anthem was drowned in whistles and jeers. That alone rattled nerves. Reporters later described the crowd as torn between patriotism and aggression. Then came the pivotal second match, Zabaleta versus Massú. The Argentine took the lead, 2 sets up and a break ahead. On-court tension rose, and after a code violation assessed to Chile, Massú delayed serving in protest. Zabaleta confronted a ball boy who had hidden a thrown object, an orange or coin, instead of handing it to the umpire. Zabaleta shoved the ball boy. That was the spark. Suddenly, the stands unraveled. A hail of objects rained down, plastic chairs, coins, bottles, fruit. The Argentine players fled toward the tunnel. Riot police formed a shield wall around Zabaleta and his teammates. His father, in the stands, was struck in the head by a chair and required stitches. Officials were overwhelmed. 2 police officers were injured. 5 people were detained. Television footage captured Argentine players clutching plastic chairs as shields. Zabaleta ran back on court in desperation. Gumi huddled behind Carabinero shields. One broadcaster described it as like a war zone invading a sport built on etiquette. The referee and the Davis Cup supervisor considered resuming play behind closed doors the next day, but Argentina had had enough. They announced they wouldn't return, citing lack of security guarantees and emotional trauma. The tie was forfeited. Chile was declared winner 5-0. The fallout was swift. The International Tennis Federation ruled Argentina had refused to continue, but Chile's public behavior was punished. Chile was banned from hosting Davis Cup home ties for 2 years and fined nearly $50,000. Argentina was fined too for failing to respect the referee's decision. Chile was also barred from the playoffs for the World Group, effectively wasting their awarded victory. Argentina and Chile didn't meet again in Davis Cup for 18 years. When they finally played in 2018, the mood was cooler, more respectful, and far from chaos. Journalists on both sides called it the darkest day in Davis Cup history and a stain on tennis itself, a game rooted in sportsmanship. What made it so combustible? Alcohol. Fans were drinking inside a half-finished arena. Plastic chairs were loose. Seats weren't anchored. It didn't take much to turn frustration into projectiles. Politics and rivalry. Tension spilled over from a recent football defeat. Nationalism was high. Fan chants became invective. Hate became tangible. Chaos on court. A ball boy hides an object. A player retaliates physically. The referee issues a penalty point. The crowd reacts immediately. There was no time for calm or diplomacy. Lack of security planning. Event organizers underestimated risks. No fixed seating, no clear evacuation plan. Officials never expected chairs to become weapons. Psychological breakdown. Zabaleta and teammates saw their supporters attacked. His father injured. Gumi recalled how he felt, lost, scared, and disconnected. They left not out of defiance, but self-preservation. Mariano Zabaleta later revealed his father suffered a serious cut requiring stitches. He also shared how it affected his mental state, months of anxiety, sleepless nights, and blame from media and fellow players. Masu and Rios extended apologies, as did other team members, but Zabaleta said, "It changed me, it made me grow up, but it broke me." Gummy, still coaching today, said, "I saw chairs from higher stands falling into those behind them. It was like collective insanity. I had no intention of playing the next day. There was nothing left to fight for." Chile offered to resume the tie without spectators. ITF officials insisted on finishing the match in a closed stadium, if Argentina agreed. But the Argentine team had already boarded a plane. Emotionally exhausted, they declined. That withdrawal cost them the tie, but arguably saved them from further risk. ITF President Enrique Morea later said, "If they'd played in silence or behind closed doors, we might have buried the scandal, but the damage was done." Chile's public behavior, he added, required punishment. He confessed regret that any aspect of tennis could look like hooliganism. For nearly 2 decades, Chile hosted no Davis Cup ties. Argentina avoided confrontation. When they avoided facing each other in competition for so long, the memory burned. The series became known as La Serie de los Sillazos, the chair-throwing series, a moment when tennis lost its dignity. Press from both nations reflect on the incident with regret. One Chilean article called it a shameful episode that must never repeat, and demanded fan education. Argentine media described a humiliation before the world that temporarily derailed Zabaleta's career. In an era when tennis is sanitized, polished, choreographed, this series reminds us how quickly a sport can devolve. Passion is good, rivalry can inspire. But if boundaries disappear, respect evaporates and violence erupts. This moment forced rule changes in Davis Cup organization. Stricter stadium safety checks, behavior codes for fans, alcohol restrictions. Carabineros now train for match crowd scenarios. Ball boys have clearer protocols. Teams must confirm security before playing. It wasn't the players who stopped the match, it was the police. Not a loud whistle, not an umpire's chair call. It was riot shields and evacuation orders. It wasn't Argentina that lost. It was the spirit of the sport, brought down by a few bad decisions, a combustible crowd, and an emotional powder keg. Yet from this disaster came change. From the Sillazos, we got safety protocols. We got awareness that tennis can hurt and must never tolerate chaos. So when people ask, what's the most extreme horror in Davis Cup history? You point them to April 7, 2000 Santiago, a day when chairs flew, a father bled, players fled, and a match ended in disgrace, not glory. If you are tired of feeling stuck in your tennis journey, training hard but not seeing real results, struggling with injuries, inconsistency, or feeling like you're not reaching your true potential, is because you're not doing what the pros do. The difference between staying where you are and playing like a pro isn't just talent, it's having the right system, mindset, and support. That's exactly why I created the Tennis Motivation Academy, for players who refuse to settle. If you're serious about leveling up, this is your shortcut. You'll get the Become a Pro Player Guide, so you train with the same structure as top athletes. Elite fitness routines, so you move faster, hit harder, and outlast your opponents. Injury prevention system, because pain shouldn't hold you back. A private community of winners, because who you surround yourself with matters. Spots are limited and doors won't stay open forever. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results. Don't wait, take action now. The link is in the description. That's it for today. If you found this video useful, leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your tennis friends. See you in the next one.